Hey there, you're listening to the Girls Talking Life podcast, and I'm your host, Johanna. If you're like me, you love time with friends. I always leave feeling encouraged, inspired to try something different, or I've learned something new. So why not continue to grow even when we can't be with our girlfriends? We're not made to do life on our own. So in each episode of this show, I'll bring you a girl and her story to give you refreshing ideas to stir your soul. Let's walk this road together. Are you ready to talk life? Hi friend, you are listening to week 3 of the Summer of Friendship series. Last week, we talked about why friendship is so good for your health. Benefits like boosting your mood, reducing stress and anxiety, improving cognitive functioning, and even extending your life. If you missed that mini episode, be sure to go back and catch it. I also wanted to let you know I am hosting a Summer Friendship Challenge. If you're ready to dig in with intentionality this summer, I would love for you to join us. Each week, you'll get an email with a practical action step to help you cultivate community, create meaningful connections, and build lasting friendships. Many of you have jumped in, and it has been so fun hearing from you. If you're not part of the challenge yet, it's not too late. Find the link to sign up in the show notes. Today, my sweet friend, Jill E. McCormick, joins us as our guest host. Jill was a guest on episode number 102, sharing her story of entering into the invitation of God's grace and how we can move from being try-hard girls to being grace girls. If you haven't heard that one, definitely go back and listen to Jill's story. Jill is the host of the Grace in Real Life podcast and the writer behind JillEMcCormick.com. Spaces where she shares common sense grace with the try-hard girl who wants her faith to intersect with her real and full life. Jill lives in South Texas with her high school sweetheart, now husband Ryan, their 2 daughters, and 1 Vizsla puppy. I love the message that Jill's putting into the world, and she has become a dear friend to me, so of course I wanted you to get to know her too. Today, Jill is talking to us about the Enneagram and how your type impacts your friendship style. Learn more about how God specifically wired you and how He designed the personalities of the friends in your life. She'll break down each of the 9 Enneagram types and give you habits to help you grow. If you aren't familiar with the Enneagram or don't know your type yet, don't worry. Listen to see if you hear Jill describe some of your personality traits, and then be sure to grab the quick start guide to the Enneagram that she mentions at the end. You can find the link in the show notes. Here's Jill.
You were created by God with your personality type by design for a specific purpose, so you can be the friend God created you to be to others, and so you can be friends with God Himself. When we understand this truth, we can be free from comparison and from trying to be more like her, so we can be exactly the person our friends need us to be. Our goal here is for you to learn about how God wired you, but also for you to learn about those in your life so you can love them well, show them grace, and be the friend God created you to be. So y'all, we will go through all 9 Enneagram types, and for each type, we're going to break down healthy habits to help you grow. So let's get started with type 8, which is near the top of the Enneagram circle. Type 8s are called the challenger. You love justice, are the most controlling and intense of all the types, and are motivated by your desire to protect yourself, to be in control, and hide any weaknesses that others may use against you. When you are healthy and whole, you reflect God's justice. So 8s, if you want to grow in your friendships, practice being open-hearted. Walk in with the mindset that you don't have to dominate the person or conversation, but that you can show up just as you are. To grow in your friendship with God, practice trusting God to fight for you. God is your ultimate protector and defender. Ask Him to remind you that He is actively providing for all you need. If you're a friend of an 8, remember, she seems tough on the outside, but there is a kind and gentle heart she works very hard to protect on the inside. Be patient with her. Give her space and time to build trust in you. Allow her to be herself and to bring her passion to the table. Let's talk about type 9s, the peacemakers. 9s, you scan the surface for tension and do what you can to keep everything right in the world because you are motivated by living a peaceful life. When you are healthy and whole, you radiate God's peace. So 9s, if you want to grow in your friendships, challenge yourself to share a true feeling with a friend. Maybe it's where you want to grab lunch instead of saying, I don't know, whatever you want. Or you could share how you really vote or how her loud slurping drives you crazy. To grow in your relationship with God, ask Jesus to show you the good works he has for you to do. If you're a friend of a 9, put the phone down and pay attention to all her words. Make sure to ask her questions about herself because it shows that you're interested, you care, and you see her, that she matters. What about type 1s, also called the reformers or improvers? 1s, you detect what needs improvement, then you improve it, and then you get frustrated that not everyone is as interested in improving things as you are, because you are motivated by improving everything. When you are healthy and whole, you reflect God's goodness and beauty. So 1s, if you want to grow in your friendships, challenge yourself to give one true, heartfelt compliment, not critique, per day. To grow in your relationship with God, practice receiving the love he freely offers. God isn't disappointed in you, so you can quit judging yourself. You may feel ridiculous doing this, but hold out your hands as if you're receiving a gift and imagine and picture yourself receiving God's love. If you're a friend of a 1 and need to bring up something that's been bothering you, remember 1s have the loudest inner critic of all 9 types, so be kind to them and notice your tone as you speak to them. Bring up the issue, but couch it in a way that keeps their dignity intact. Type 2 is the helper, who can sense needs in everyone but herself. 2s, you are motivated by your need to be needed. When you are healthy and whole, you reflect God's love to the world. So 2s, if you want to grow in your friendships, find one trusted friend and share one need with her. No matter how big or how small, share one way your friend can help you. To grow in your relationship with God, practice reading his word to know him even better. Study God's word for yourself and don't just read it to help solve someone else's issues. If you're a friend of a 2, consistently show up in her world. Sit with her, invest in her, listen. Type 3 is the performer or achiever. You excel at determining what you need to do or who you need to become to gain admiration and love because of your desire to achieve and avoid failure at all costs. When you are healthy and whole, you reflect God's hope and brilliance. So 3s, if you want to grow in your friendships, please start with taking off your mask of fake fine. It's okay to struggle. People will love you even more without the dog and pony show you put on. To grow in your relationship with God, just spend time with him. You don't always have to do for him. You can just hang out with your friend Jesus. If you're a friend of a 3, thank you. Don't give up on us, y'all. I'm an Enneagram 3. If we only seem to share surface level facts with you, we're just scared. Give us time. Ask us hard questions. We so desperately want you to know the real us, hidden under all the layers of accomplishments, recognition, and our game face. What about the type 4 or the individualist? 4s, you look inward and determine what you're missing and are motivated by your desire to be yourself and for others to recognize your you-ness. When you are healthy and whole, you reflect God's creativity. So 4s, if you want to grow in your friendships, remember that some of your friends are really comfortable digging deep and expressing every emotion, and some of your friends aren't. Continue to feel what you need to feel, but not everyone will be as good at holding space for heavy emotions as you are. To grow in your relationship with God, practice prayer. You aren't too much for God. He delights in you so much, He sings over you. You lack nothing because the Lord is your good shepherd. If you are a friend of a 4, don't rush in to fix her situation. 4s already believe they are inherently flawed, so rushing to fix them simply reinforces the belief. Instead, sit and listen. Now on to the type 5 or the investigator. 5s, you love data collection and analysis. You are the most analytical and strategic of all the types. And you are motivated to gather as much information and knowledge as you can in order to avoid feeling inadequate or incompetent. When you are healthy and whole, you reflect God's wisdom. So 5s, if you want to grow in your friendships, think about partial solutions for friend time. Maybe social time looks like striking up a conversation over Marco Polo or Voxer, apps that can help you maintain friendships on your time and on your schedule. To grow in your relationship with God, practice obedience. It's easy for 5s to struggle with analysis paralysis. Listen to God and then go do it. If you're a friend of a 5, please be patient with her, as her lack of commitment about getting together may not be about you, but about protecting her mental and emotional energy. Keep asking. Type 6 is the loyalist. So 6s, you scan the world for threats and what can go wrong. You do this because you are motivated by your desire to be safe, and you believe you can be safe by following all the rules, which means you get frustrated when other people don't follow the rules. When you are healthy and whole, you reflect God's faithfulness. If you're a 6 and want to deepen your friendships, remember that not everyone will be as committed, thoughtful, or responsible as you are. Don't lower your expectations. Just don't give up on those who aren't as invested as you are. To grow in your relationship with God, practice silence. Not literal silence, but silence in your head. Quiet down your thoughts, the worries, fears, and anxieties by allowing God to remind you that He is God and He is sovereign. If you're a friend of a 6, remember to show up to her major life events and in her daily life. Say yes as much as you can to her invitations. Bear witness to her life. And y'all 6s can get frustrated with friends who only want to celebrate the highlights. Our final type, the type 7 or the enthusiast, well, you detect the fun, joy, and whimsy, and you chase after it with your whole heart. You're the most energetic of all 9 Enneagram types because you are motivated by your desire to experience joy and have freedom in order to out-busy any painful, heavy feelings you don't want to process. When you are healthy and whole, you reflect God's joy. So if you're a 7 and you want to grow in your friendships, find 1 or 2 trustworthy people and share a pain point with them. Allow yourself to stay present in the pain and heaviness with people who won't minimize it or talk you out of it. So maybe find a 4 for this process. To grow in your relationship with God, practice variety. Your relationship with God doesn't always need to look like an open Bible and a coffee cup. You can mix things up by being with God on a run, or painting to express His character, or doing a word study. If you're a friend of a 7, offer this adventure. Let them know that they can share what they perceive as negative emotions on their terms with you, and that you'll listen. Give them permission to not be okay. If you feel like we only skimmed the surface, which we totally did, and you want to learn more, I'd love to send you a free ebook I wrote about the Enneagram. Just go to the link in the show notes to sign up for my free weekly newsletter and grab your copy of my ebook called Your Quick Start Guide to the Enneagram. Friend, you were created by God with your personality type, by design, for a specific purpose, so you can be the friend God created you to be to others, and so you can be friends with God Himself.